It's really weird to watch movies when you know the concept itself is going to be so foreign to people 10, 20, 30 years from now. Just a few episodes ago, I did War Games and Pleasantville and Big and how innocent they are next to today's movies. Well, this week's movie isn't any different than that. What do you mean an illegal weed business is for sale? Well, lock, stock, and two smoking joints. This week we're talking about Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman on the Everyman Movie Review. Thank you all for joining me for yet another episode of the Everyman Movie Review. Right at the top here, I want to say a big thank you to all our frontline workers, whether it's the doctors and nurses going into the hospitals, the retail workers stocking shelves, the truckers making sure all those goods get into the cities like where I live, or the restaurateurs who keep their doors open to make sure that we don't have to eat our own crappy cooking every single night. Thank all of you. You have made getting through quarantine that much easier. And to those of you out on the street who are exercising your First Amendment right and protesting, I hope you are doing so safely. Make sure that you're wearing your mask, that you're distancing as much as possible, and that you are wearing your gloves where appropriate, especially if you're going to be touching some dirty things. But just know that I am encouraging you from afar, no matter where you are in the country or the world. The things you are doing are what this country is based on, and I salute you for it. Well, this week we are back to yet another movie that's, why didn't I see that in theaters? I don't know if on this one we actually bought tickets, but I do know that we talked about going to see it and we just never did. But when it popped up on Netflix, everyone got super excited and we said, yep, that's going to be the movie for tonight. Everyone had heard about it and everybody was looking forward to seeing it, and those are the best kind of movies. And that is not even taking into account that the guys and I knew it was a Guy Ritchie movie, that it had a star-studded cast, and it was going to be one of those stories that we thought we were going to be really interested in. I mean, it's Guy Ritchie, after all. But the fact that the girls were going to be into it too, that just made it something a little special and a little extra. But before we get too far into it, let's get through the pleasantries, shall we? The Gentleman was directed by Guy Ritchie. It was written by Guy Ritchie as well. And a story by credit goes to Guy Ritchie, along with Ivan Atkinson and Marn Davies. It is starring Matthew McConaughey as Michael Pearson, Charlie Hunnam as Ray, Michelle Dockery as Rosalind Pearson, or as I called her, hey, the chick from Downton Abbey, Jeremy Strong as Matthew, Lynn Renee as Jackie, Colin Farrell as Coach, Henry Golding as Dry Eye, or as I called it, hey, the guy from that Christmas movie and the Asian wedding movie, Tom Wu as Lord George, Chidi Ejiofor as Bunny, Hugh Grant as Fletcher, and a pretty diverse and pretty fantastic supporting cast. So The Gentleman. I'm not going to say it's ironically named because the guys are gentlemen, I suppose, but in a way it's about the ways that guys act that are seemingly gentlemanly but not. American expat Michael Pearson has a thriving marijuana business in the UK. As I said in the opening, it's likely a movie that people 30 years from now are going to be like, well, what's the big deal? Why is everybody interested? Like, he could just put it up to auction. But in the UK, it's illegal to grow marijuana, so he has to kind of keep it under wraps. So he's looking for a buyer for this business so he can retire with his wife, Michelle Dockery, and just go live the life instead of worrying about things all the time. So he brings in Matthew, who's a well-connected guy, and kind of shows him what's going on, and then hopes that, hey, maybe you'll want to take this off my hands, or you know somebody who does. But shortly after Matthew's visit, the safe house, the grow house, I don't smoke weed, so I'm not really sure what all the terms are, so forgive me as we move forward. I'm probably going to mess a lot of things up. But the grow house gets hit, and it's the first time in 15 years that they've had any trouble. And that's our first clue that trouble is afoot. Word is out. He's looking to sell, and that means that maybe he's weak, and maybe someone could make a move on him. Maybe it's Lord George. Maybe he's going to use his little underling, Dry Eye. Or maybe Dry Eye is trying to break out and make his own thing. And much like any mafia movie that you've seen kind of in the United States, where it's Italians and the Irish and the Jewish mob and the Russians, they are all of these kind of characters, but all cast in the English countryside and the city of London, with the American expat and the, upper crust kind of mob guys and the much lower kind of mob guys and the Irish mob and the Chinese mob, and just everybody is interested in this jewel that is now available. And of course, it's a Guy Ritchie movie, so if you have any expectations, there's gonna be a lot of gunfire, there's gonna be some fist fights, there's gonna be moments of unbelievable realistic violence and just slow, methodical violence. And I don't know that the girls who we watched with knew what they were getting into. We knew it was a Guy Ritchie movie, and I can say in no uncertain terms, if you like Guy Ritchie movies, you're going to like this. It is probably one of his best movies, if you like his style of directing and writing. I'm a huge fan of Snatch. I'm a huge fan of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. This is in the vein of both of those. It's different. It's a different movie, a different concept, but if you like the way that he writes and the way he directs, you know what you're getting into. It's just like Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino movies are noticeably Tarantino movies. Guy Ritchie movies are noticeably Guy Ritchie movies. You know what you're getting into. The girls, however, did not know this was a Guy Ritchie movie and did not know what they were getting into. And there was just like really cool, epic moments, and then bam, insane violence or crazy shootout or, you know, there was a moment, and it's not really a spoiler to say, that there's a character who is looking away, the camera's kind of looking over his shoulder without his head in frame, and then just splash of blood on the cup. And they were like, what is that? What's going on? Like, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. It's like artistic violence, but you know something bad is going to happen because of that, right? Like there's going to be, it basically becomes a blood feud where it's just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I don't, he always has an interesting way of storytelling, but I think he chose something even more interesting this time because a lot of the story is told by the character Fletcher, played by Hugh Grant. There is a moment as the second act begins where Fletcher comes into Ray, that's Charlie Hunnam's house, and he basically says, I have a deal to make for you. And he starts to outline these things that he knows. But as he's outlining them to Ray, we get to watch them in real time as if they're happening. So we get to like a little bit of something rare at the beginning, and then we kind of go through the bulk of the movie with Fletcher telling the story. And then at one point, he's told all he knows, and Ray takes over, Charlie Hunnam takes over. And by the way, Charlie Hunnam, just an underrated actor. And maybe I just think that he's underrated because maybe he is rated exactly as high as he should be. But Charlie Hunnam was in Sons of Anarchy and he was amazing as Jax. And it's just such a complex character and he did it so well. And then there was the whole thing about him possibly playing the lead Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey. And then when that fell through, I feel like everybody just knocked his stock way down. And he did the King Arthur movie, which I thought was all right. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a take. It was an interesting take. I'm pretty sure that was a Guy Ritchie movie too. So it's like, yeah, it's going to be Guy Ritchie's take on King Arthur. Just like Quentin Tarantino did a take on 50s Hollywood movie. That's what these guys do. They do their takes on things. It's not like everything else. But it's just like everybody kind of forgot about Jax, about Charlie. And just watching him in The Gentleman and just his cool, calm demeanor, his accent, which was, I thought it was good enough. It was good enough to fool the girls who were watching. They thought that it was so good. They were asking, is he really British? All of those stuff. It's just like, he fell into the character. And, they also have a hard time understanding that there are different British accents, just like there are different American accents. And, like, just because he may do one accent really well, doesn't mean he's going to do, like, a Cockney accent is not the same as the Queen's. It's not the same as, whether they speak up in Yorkshire. It's not what they speak in Scotland, certainly, or Ireland, Northern Ireland. But nonetheless, I just feel like his stock took a hit when he wasn't Christian Grey, and people have just, like, forgotten about him. But I think The Gentleman just shows how amazing an actor he is, and his ability to exude confidence and be like a strong, I'm gonna kind of scare you character, but also be an intellectual and kind of intimidate you both physically and emotionally and intellectually, and do all of that while playing kind of second fiddle to Matthew McConaughey. Just, it's amazing skill set for an actor to be able to do that. And I mean, I don't want to go through all the characters, but Michelle Dockery as Rosalind, I said when I was going through the pleasantries, the chick from Downton Abbey. But she was typecasted and she is well known for that character. She is a really good actress and she did really well in this role, which is so much different from who she was playing on Downton Abbey. And just everyone did such a great job. And I think it's something that is come to be a theme through all of these reviews, and that's good writing and good directing, along with a cast that that seems to have fun with what it is they're producing, often just brings out an amazing movie. And I think that's what happened here. It's a bunch of guys who all kind of know each other. They've worked together before on different projects, and hey, let's get together and make this really fun kind of shoot 'em up action adventure movie. And they did. And all of that comes through on the screen. And this is yet another one where I'm heartbroken that I didn't see it on the big screen, because I think that being able to see it with the great sound and the big screen and the bright lights and the seats and everything would have just made the experience so much more. Not that it wasn't great to see with everybody at home, but there's something about the movie going experience, and maybe it took not being able to go to the movies for a while to realize it, but I realize it now, and I miss it, and I want it back. And I wish I would have seen that with The Gentleman. And I'm not going to give all the details away, but I kind of frothed there for a little bit about Charlie Hunnam, just because in the end he reveals that he is smarter than everybody else, and he knows everything that's going on, and he feels like he's totally in control. And even when he is, he's not. And that there's a little bit to catch everybody by surprise. He catches Fletcher by surprise, Fletcher catches him by surprise, and in a way, they catch us by surprise with some of the twists and turns. I don't want to do spoilers for these shorter episodes, and I'm not going to do that, but I will say it's probably worth a watch for most people. If you don't like violence, like super bad violence, even though it's kind of minimal. If you don't like drug culture, there's a little bit of that. If you don't like Guy Ritchie, definitely don't see it. It's a Guy Ritchie movie, and it's very much so that. But otherwise, I think everybody can enjoy it, and I think all 6 people who sat and watched it, everybody took something from it that they liked. Everyone said afterwards that they were glad we watched it, that they followed up with that sentiment from the beginning, which is, yeah, definitely, let's go watch this. So I think that's all you can really ask for. It was an enjoyable movie. And the fact that the guys who I usually go to the movies with and their girlfriends can all agree on a movie and all come out of it saying we all enjoyed it, that gets it 2 thumbs up. It's got a little bit of a longer runtime. I mean, again, it's a Guy Ritchie movie, so it's not going to be 90 minutes strictly. But it's also not the 2 hour and 20, 40 minutes of some stuff that we've seen before. And nobody's pulling the Martin Scorsese, 3 hours and 50 minutes or whatever. So, it takes some time. It takes an investment. If you have an evening, and we have a lot of evenings right now, take the time to go on over to Netflix and check out The Gentleman. It is 100% worth your time. So there you have it, yet another episode of the Everyman Movie Review in the books. First up, before even the patrons, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I finally got a haircut. No, I didn't go out to a salon. If you guys come to my channel just to check out the Everyman Movie Reviews, you're not going to want to miss the video of me cutting my hair live on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. I put up a poll and said, should I wait or should I cut it now? Overwhelmingly, people said cut it, so Roxy had been hitting me up to cut my hair since she got here, and I let her do it. And you can watch the video and all the kind of ridiculousness that went on during that right here on the YouTube channel. You're going to find that video right here. And I'm going to be looking to do more videos like that, so make sure you check out all the new releases on the channel. You're not going to be disappointed. Now, one thing you won't see here on YouTube is the longer version of it, the one with bonus footage after the live stream stopped, because that is only for my patrons over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. Some folks over there are getting behind the scenes action. They're getting exclusives that nobody will see. They're coming along with me as I write my next book. Those are all things you can experience for as little as $1. It is 100% worth it. And you can also then know that you're supporting me doing my work and everything that I'm doing. So go on over to Patreon, sign up to be a supporter, and check out all of the stuff I have going on over there. And of course, I don't want to forget about the social media. You can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, everywhere at Robert N. Cheek. I try to keep up. I try to post a lot. I have been posting an exponential amount during the George Floyd protests, so make sure you're following me to get all the latest on my life. And of course, one last thing, robertncheek.com, still under construction, but we are starting to get more content up there. If you're looking for anything about what I'm working on or what I have or what's out there in the world, you're going to find it at robertncheek.com, including all of these videos, the other videos from YouTube, the books, the screenplays, all of that. at robertandcheek.com. That's the place to go. You're not going to want to miss it. And finally, if you can't get enough of me because, why would you? Make sure you're checking out the Oh the Anthem podcast. New episodes every single Tuesday at ohtheanthem.com, on YouTube at Oh the Anthem, and on anchor.fm/Oh the Anthem. Me and my buddy Corey have now done 320 plus weeks of consecutive new episodes, new material every single week. But thank you for checking out this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a little break from everything that's going on in the world around us, and that it lets you recharge and give yourself a little self-care. Make sure you come back. New episodes every Thursday and one day in between, plus other stuff that's going on that's not the reviews. Make sure you turn on the notifications. It'll let you know whenever I post something new. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great week, everybody.